We literally just played chicken to say hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to another super fun and exciting episode of Crime Cocktails. Andy,
Yes.
I like how you're in a beanie and it's 75 degrees where you are. It's 35 here and I have like on a thin turtleneck.
I love it. I love it.
It's just how it rolls.
It's cold in my house, man. I'm freezing.
Don't know. This is the time of year. We made a
I
deal in
know.
our group that during the winter, my Southern California friends are not allowed to complain about the weather.
It's my favorite thing to do.
I know it is. You got to find something else from December to like April.
My favorite thing is sending photos of me like at the beach to my friends in Minneapolis and
Oh yeah.
Wisconsin or like in the snow and freezing to death.
I'm honestly mad it hasn't snowed here yet because it snowed everywhere else.
Yeah, it hasn't snowed there at
Here,
all.
no, got nothing.
Whoa.
People are still fishing. Like,
It's coming. It's
yeah, I looked
coming.
out my window and there's like fishermen on there's a huge rock by my house and people go and park
Oh.
and go fish. So
Oh.
yeah,
Gotta be cold out there in the water.
they don't go in. They
I
stand
know,
on
but just
top.
on it and the boat. That would be freezing.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never done it. Don't, I mean, I've fished. I've never gone down on that rock. People like die off it every year, so I try not to.
Whoa.
Yeah, because the waves come and they whack it and it goes.
Smart choices.
College kids get drunk there. It's a whole thing.
Hmm.
Whole thing. You want to talk about getting drunk though?
This is a great
Thank
transition.
you.
That was excellent.
That's
Because we are
weird.
talking about, oh, do you want to introduce the what?
It's Kai's cocktail corner. That's it.
Oh, that was very cash. Um, so we are talking about JonBenet and the new Netflix docu-series situation that came out. And so this is called The Pageant Queen after Little JonBenet. And it is gin. Here it is. It's very like Christmassy
Ooh. I
holiday.
was gonna say, I'm excited to hear about the garnish
Oh
situation.
yes, yes, yes. It looks a little weird, but it is gin, cranberry juice, freshly squeezed orange juice, orange liqueur, simple syrup, sparkling water, and then sugared cranberry skewer for the garnish.
Sugared cranberry skewer. Were those left over from Thanksgiving?
I'm upset. Yeah, it was. The
How do you
dried
know?
cranberry with sugar. I
The
love how you said skewer. Skewer.
skewer. How do you say it?
I just skewer.
It's a skewer.
Skewer.
Oh, it's like when you say a word enough times, it starts sounding weird.
Yeah, it does sound very weird.
Now I'm thinking about how do I say it? Is it wrong? Is it okay? Is it
I
right?
don't know. I probably say it the Wisconsin way. Skewer.
Scare.
Skewer.
Okay, so JonBenet Ramsey. What
Jumping.
what did you think? What I know you and I have already kind of had our initial
Hmm.
well, I mean, I think you and I both made an active effort to not talk about it too much with each other so we could get our actual responses here, which I'm very proud of
Yes.
us for. Um, However, I know you and I both said the same thing, which is I'm now confused.
Yes. Although I did some follow-up research and now
I
I'm
love
less
when you do that.
confused. I'm less confused.
I
But
love my overachiever.
it was very enthralling. They did share evidence that like wasn't presented in the other documentaries,
Yeah, agreed.
but there was a reason they weren't. So I don't know. It seemed very like was I couldn't find online if it was funded by John.
Oh, the documentary?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
but it seemed like it because like it is nice to hear it from the family side of the story and their like experience because with the media you don't really think about how they're dealing with all of the things coming at them like and if they
Agreed.
aren't involved, it's so fucked up, like really
Yeah.
sad.
I thought it was really interesting too. I mean, I maybe I've just never paid attention to the other ones enough, like that I didn't realize that there were so many like that John Ramsey was married previously and had 3 kids.
And one died? I
And
had no
one
clue.
died in a horrific car accident. And so when they had the oldest brother come in and be interviewed, I was like, who is this guy? What's going on?
Yeah,
He knows a lot. And at
it
first,
was very
too,
weird.
I have to admit, I wasn't like being 100% actively watching
Hmm.
like I should have been. And I didn't realize it was John Ramsey at first.
Oh yeah.
Stopped and I was like, hold up, this guy's actually like involved in this. Cause I feel like when the, what was it, the 2008 one came out? No,
Hmm.
sorry. The one where, was it the HBO one that they made it look like it was Burke?
I I think maybe I feel like I've watched like 10
I feel like there have
documentaries.
been so many. There have been
So I
so
don't
many.
really remember each one individually, but yeah, there was one that definitely like focused on Burke and it was very convincing. Like the
Yeah,
bananas and the like bowl,
pineapple.
pineapple, whatever the fuck, yeah. That.
Yeah. I mean, I can admit I was convinced it was Burke
Me
up
too.
until I watched this. And now I left with more questions than answers, which is what I think they wanted
Yeah,
out of us. Let's see. I took
yeah.
copious notes.
So did I.
Like, first question I had is why, okay, so what I thought was really cool that they did is they did that like 3D active map of the house, like the
Hmm.
layout. First of all, that house is massive.
It is so cramped. Like I
Cramped,
felt
like it's
claustrophobic.
6,500 square feet. Like
Huge.
that's pretty big for a house. And
But
like,
all the halls and like the stair, it just like
yeah, it
seemed
had a
like it's
lot, it felt like a
small.
labyrinth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I thought, this was like my first question I had was why was her room like, so the parents' room was on the third top level. Then it was her room was essentially like the first access point from like the main floor.
Mhm.
So like of course they wouldn't hear if something happened to her.
No.
Like they're all the way up top.
Yeah.
I would think if you had such a young, I don't know, this is just, I guess, me personally, if I had a home with multiple floors and children, I'd want them higher up if something happened.
Yeah, I'd want them closer to my bedroom.
Yeah. Like
But
I'm
if
just
it's
thinking,
their
yeah.
like second child and John's like whatever sixth child or whatever,
Yeah.
then maybe they're more relaxed about it. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
But I would want them close to me if they're a
Yeah.
toddler or
It
like a
made me,
little.
yeah. I also realized I interrupt you so much. I need to stop. But I was also thinking during this that like of the Idaho murders, how the people, like the girls on the top floor didn't know anything that was going on. And Brian Koberger allegedly stopped before he got to the top floor. So I don't know. It made me think of that. Like, if you're on the top floor, do you actually know what's going on below you?
I guess it depends on the house too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, they probably didn't hear anything and said they didn't. So, of
Yeah.
course, I don't know.
I felt like it really put the Boulder police on blast for how much they created
They
issues with the
fucked
case.
up. Yeah, they fucked up a lot.
Yeah.
They didn't even find her body. He did. He did. John did.
Yeah. And John said that one of the police officers said, go walk around the house. So that's pretty much asking them to contaminate evidence and then allowing neighbors and everything. Like, they didn't seal off the house.
Yeah.
They didn't seal it off. Like, how do you not seal if you know it was? I feel like even if it is a kidnapping, I feel like they still seal off the house.
They were super empathetic to the family right off the bat, and they didn't even think that they could be involved because it was a kidnapping. So
Mhm.
they immediately they didn't even think of all the things that they had probably learned. Like it's
Yeah.
usually a family member. I don't know if it's their wealth or like status that influenced them to act that way, but like can you
Yeah.
imagine them doing that if it was like a black family? I doubt it.
No, I also had no idea how wealthy the Ramseys
So
were,
wealthy.
that
Yeah.
he was the president of this like billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
So I think it would make sense that then someone would go after them. Um, I also thought how they went about the evidence was interesting, or discussing the evidence that was found during this. Like the ransom note, it finally, when they said it in the documentary, like it was really long and odd for a
Really
ransom
weird.
note.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I guess that's a good point. I never would have thought that.
But can't you see them like scrambling and freaking out and like trying to make it an elaborate, weird ransom note if they're trying to cover it up? Also, they
Absolutely.
pointed out that like sheet had a practice
Hmm.
thing like
Oh
written,
yes, when they
which
handed
is a little
over
weird.
the, yeah. And
Mhm.
then just like the odd amount of it being $118,000, like very specific.
Very close to his bonus amount.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's like, does someone he worked with know that and like target him, or was it just on the top of his head and he like had that much in cash, so he was like,
Yeah.
much. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel really torn because I feel like for the longest time I thought it was a family, like an inside job, essentially. But now I'm at this place of like, would if I had done that to my child, that doesn't exist, would I go this hard for like new technology, new advancements in this field to go and find the killer? Or would I just kind of be like, let it die out?
Honestly, I think it's a little weird that John spent this much effort trying to like share with the public how innocent they are, like putting
Mm,
together this. I don't know, like after all of the things they've been through, it seems like he's like, look, see, we're innocent, like
yeah.
trying to, I don't know. I'm playing the devil's advocate
I love when you do that.
because I think when you watch I think you have to go back and watch all the other documentaries
Mhm.
because they had like great references they were using, like the medical professionals
Yeah.
and things like that. Like this one, I feel like they talked about evidence, but they didn't really have references or dive into like the actual DNA. Like I looked up the DNA was what threw me when I watched this. I was like, whoa, there was like unidentified DNA under on her underwear and
Yeah.
legs and under her nails and on the paintbrush or whatever.
Hmm.
But I looked it up and it was like they had the tiniest amount that they can't even go back and test it now. It was like the most microscopic like fraction of DNA that there was no way between those three samples that they were so partial that they just concluded that they sh probably are the same DNA, but they didn't prove that, apparently.
What about the fact that
Oh,
they actually went or sent someone to the um, facility or the factory where her underwear was made to see if it was like previously on there, which made me feel so gross. And like anytime I
yeah.
my clothes now, I mean, I wash my clothes anyways before I wear them, but
But
like,
people like
oh,
touching
yeah.
it.
It also made me think of, and I don't know if I shared this with you before Thanksgiving, but did you see that butterball? Like that
Yeah. What the fuck?
yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, this video became viral of workers at Butterball sexually abusing turkeys before they were slaughtered for to be Thanksgiving turkeys. The
It's
company has
sad and
come
fucked up.
out, yeah, the company has come out since then and been like, that's an old video. It's now privately owned. It's not this anymore. But they have seen that since this video has like kind of had a resurgence, sales have gone went dramatically down during Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was sending it to everyone being like, hope you didn't buy this one.
Oh my God. It's horrifying.
Yeah, but I don't like such weird references today. I apologize. Like weird correlations to things.
Wait, I just want to dive into the DNA really quick because I like deep dive,
You love
so
DNA.
deep dived. Um, because I read about a different case that had there was a murder of a woman and they tied it back to this homeless guy because of this tiny amount of DNA they found on her. And it turns out he was treated by the same medic earlier that day than the victim, and he had like just touched her, and that DNA
Wow.
was linked to this homeless guy. So like things like that. Like they were at a Christmas party the night before around a ton of people, could have been like running around, could have had that paintbrush, who knows,
Yeah.
at the party. Could have like, I don't know. There's a lot of things that could have happened, and I just don't think we should put as much weight on the DNA.
Yeah, I am curious because I know last year when we talked about it this time last year because
Hmm.
the Boulder Police Department puts out an annual statement about what they're doing at the case. And I remember last year they were discussing how they were getting outside sources to come in, experts to come in and reevaluate all the evidence and go through the DNA and stuff. So I'm curious as to like what this year comes. And I know they were discussing using this different kind of like way of using data.
Well, according to the Journal of Law and Biosciences, they said that legally, the amount of DNA they found isn't even allowed to be used in that broad database search because
The
it's such
genetic
a,
genealogy.
yeah, which I
Weird.
was like, let's test it, let's do it. And I was reading
Yeah.
why they couldn't. It's because it's not even considered enough that would be an accurate match if it did match with
Mhm.
someone. Like it wouldn't be recognized as
Yeah.
proof in any way, as evidence, I guess. Yeah, 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 yeah. What did you think about that random guy in Thailand?
Oh, what's his name? What? Okay, can I also
John.
have another. John Mark Carr. Can I ask
Yeah.
a question quick?
Yeah.
Why does it seem like anyone in history that like is bad or like
Mhm.
does something ridiculous, why is it always a three namer?
It's so true. That is so
John
true.
Wayne Gacy, John Wilkes Booth,
Is it just because of the media and
Booth.
how they like
But like then there's Ted Bundy.
publish? Yeah.
So like, but why are some specific ones like the full,
Well, what's Ted Bundy's middle name? Maybe
I
it
don't
doesn't
know,
flow.
like Bartholomew or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know why that just came to me. What did I think of him? What I did think that stood out to me is how did he know so much personal information about the family?
Yeah.
That really freaked me out because I know they had that part where it was like, tell the family this, and they told Patsy, and she kind of had a moment of like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Because it was a fact that only like their personal inner circle would know.
Yeah.
So I I would love if they would dive deeper into how he could have possibly known that information. And he's the
Yeah.
only person they've arrested
Right.
for this case. I mean, what did you think about the grand jury kind of scandal?
I don't know. Everything was influenced by the media, so it was very tricky.
Well, what I thought was weird was like the grand jury voted to indict or wanted to indict them on what is it, child neglect charges?
All of that, like, okay,
Child abuse, yeah.
yeah, all of the connection with the child abuse and like relating that to the pageants, like, yeah, I have so much judgment for those pageants. I
Hmm.
don't see him having a photo of her in a pageant wear on his desk as
Yeah.
being creepy. I think if your kid was doing gymnastics and they were in a leotard, that's not weird, is it? To
Yeah.
have it on your, like,
I
I
don't
feel
think so.
like,
My dad used to have photos of like me and my sister in like our dance recital costumes framed.
yeah, like
I feel like that was
swimsuit.
pretty standard.
Same. Yeah. It's
I
just,
don't.
I don't think that was okay. And the whole like trumpet, trombone, whatever, saxophone, like she was
Oh, yes.
masturbating with it. Do you
I
remember?
thought that was ridiculous. I was like, no, she's not.
She's literally playing it
She's
like a
trying to
little
play
kid.
the trump like whatever that
Yeah.
saxophone thing. Like
Yeah.
she's just acting it out. She's not like straddling it. Like what are you? This lady was
That was
insane.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like she
So
was like
I
one of
don't
those
think there's,
televangelical women.
yeah, I don't think there's any credibility in the like
Mm-mm.
sexual abuse thing. It is weird that you put your kid in pageants, but if it's like a family thing, I can see how it's just a
Yeah.
thing in your family. And
Maybe we
like,
need to do a toddlers and tiaras
yeah.
scandal episode.
Yeah.
I used to love Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah.
Loved her.
What a shit show.
I know, seriously. But yeah, I agree. I kind of had the same thoughts. Like, yes, I don't agree with child pageants.
Yeah.
Um, However, I don't think that she was being like fetishized or sexualized by her family.
Mm.
So,
I don't know. I still think it was Burke, and I still think it was the parents covering it up because,
I didn't realize Burke sued CNN and won all that money.
yeah.
That's
By the way,
big.
this is my opinion. It is not, but I
Is
think it
what?
was Burke. This is an opinion, so don't
Oh,
steal off.
yes. This is
But I
just
think it's
personal
Burke.
opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know anymore. I feel like you, I went on Max yesterday and was like, okay, I'll rewatch that one. And I started it and I was like, no, I can't do it. So then I put on Shoresy. And
Yeah, it's too
yeah,
dark, you know?
yeah, I needed some Canadian hockey in my life. Instead, we watched that.
Yeah, like there's just so much around this case that is just so confusing and weird.
Mhm.
I feel like it's never gonna get solved. Like,
No, it's 28 years later and they're
yeah,
still nowhere further than they were. I don't
the way
know.
they acted, she was on like anti-anxiety medicine, like all zonked out, the Patsy,
Mhm.
like she was getting treated for cancer. Like there's just so much happening, like that could affect how they're acting. They're prominent, famous people. Pageant, the mom was a pageant woman. Like, who knows how they were taught how to like deal with interviews and things like that. And when you're in shock, no matter what, they're in shock, even if they're covering it up for Burke, like they were mourning the loss of their kid, no matter what. So
Exactly.
like,
I think it'll be interesting in 2026 when we hit the 30th anniversary to
mhm.
see how, well, just to see what happens. I'm sure there will be another documentary made. I'm sure there will be like huge deep dives into it and all that. What really kills me though is like she was our age. And it's like
No,
she'd be like 34 right now, just like
it's wild.
living her life. It's so
Yeah,
sad.
it's really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to my mom about it, and she's like, "Yeah, I remember that when it happened and how horrible it was." And all the parents were talking about it, and like, yeah, really disturbing. I don't know.
You know what else is disturbing?
What?
The most recent Real Housewives of Salt Lake City episode.
That was dark at the
Okay,
end.
I think before we get into that,
Yes, yes, yes.
let's discuss the episode. Their true Beverly Hills moment that was such a crash and burn. And the fact that my gay best friend told me that my Minnie Mouse slippers reminded him of Bronwyn, and that might be the best compliment I've ever received.
Yeah, they truly are.
Thank
I
you.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
It beat out. So the best compliment I ever received prior to this was this girl when I was in London at work. This girl told me I had eyes like a Disney princess, and I started
You
crying. I was like,
do.
"That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me."
Oh my gosh, you do.
Thank you. I
You
started
are.
bawling at my desk. I was like, "That's the nicest thing. Thank you."
That's so funny.
But now it's that my Minnie Mouse slippers look like a Bronwyn moment, so I'll take
She
it.
likes a big, fuzzy, dramatic piece. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, no, we do have a lot to talk about because we also have to talk about how Brittany is just trolling her.
I'm finding that so funny, but I
I think it's
also like don't
hilarious.
like her still.
No, I can't
Everyone's
stand her.
wanting her though on their social media. All of our podcast follower people, all of the podcasts I follow are like posting about how much they love her, and I'm like, I'm not
I
following.
think they
What?
love her because she's so ridiculous and so delusional and out of touch. Like her standing up at the breakfast at Tiffany's brunch thing
Yeah,
at Mary's and being like, "Well, what about me?"
yeah, that was funny. That
I was
was
like, "Girl,
kind of an
calm
iconic
down."
moment.
Yeah.
And Mary's face. That whole thing was so funny. Oh
It
gosh.
really was. But yeah, no, this past episode, things that stuck out to me,
Yeah.
obviously the Robert Jr. and Mary talk, which we'll talk about last. Bronwyn's outfit was by far my favorite.
Mhm.
She actually had like the full
Same.
Phyllis Neffler
Yeah.
suit on, which made me so happy. But with Bronwyn, I'm kind of having this moment with her of like, who are you like friends with kind of feeling? Because I feel like they got back from Palm Springs. They're, I think she's trying to build on her relationship with Heather.
Hmm.
And I think she's trying to like reassure Lisa that she's on her side. So I think when she came in to the camp day and kind of went guns blazing at Whitney, being like, well, you were talking about it. I was surprised to see that this is happening because you were talking about Heather. I mean, granted, she has said, like, no matter who I'm friends with, I will call you out for what you've
Yeah.
done. I
Hmm.
just also don't know if this is like a ploy for her to kind of get back in Lisa's good graces and to show Heather, like, I can be your friend.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like she's super authentic and like not a pick me girl. So I
Oh, she's
think
definitely not a pick me.
she's just like calling everyone out on their bullshit. And I like it. I like it. I don't know if there's motive behind it. I wonder if she's just like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. And
I
it's
mean, I
random.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm here for a call out. I was just kind of
Mhm.
like, I just had that thought of like,
That is a good thought.
thank you. Well,
I
in the
should
after
watch it
show, she
again.
is with Whitney, so they're clearly fine.
Okay, yeah.
Um, but yeah, what did you think about Meredith and Angie when Angie was like, "You should turn your hearing aids up," and Meredith
That
was
was
like,
so
"That's
funny.
offensive."
That scene was really funny because I don't think it was meant to be offensive to
Obviously
Meredith,
not.
obviously. And Meredith was like, okay, now we're picking on people with like issues
Disabilities.
or disabilities. Yeah. And she kept bringing that up. And I was like, that's not the point of this argument. Like, love you, Meredith, but that was not the whole point of this. Let's stop going
No.
back to your hearing aids.
Yeah. I think if you're gonna be a real housewife, then you really need to have a Jenna Maroney personality of like, okay, now back to me. Like, how can I relate this all back to me?
Yeah.
You
So
know?
they're doing it. They're all doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I did feel bad for Whitney and Heather that they set up this whole day and it literally just became a yell fest. And they
Well, they
really
stirred the pot a little bit.
well
So
they are both holding the spoon,
giant spoon.
yeah,
Yeah.
to stir it. They're
The cauldron.
stregonana. They're just going for it. Like,
So I think that's what they wanted to happen, to be honest.
I think that's a good point. I wonder, what do you think now with everything we know of what happened later on in that episode? And Meredith was like calling Mary out on like, you seem off. What's going on? Like, clearly you don't want to be my friend. Do you think she maybe feels bad now? Do you think maybe she
Yeah, I think at the what was
Bravo
it?
Fest?
The dinner that they had,
Oh,
the
that dinner.
Shabbat dinner? Is that
Mhm.
what it was? They I think they all knew about the son. Like I think we all knew the son was dealing with weird shit, posting guns online and
Yeah.
like for a while, but I think they knew at that point because they were all like, yeah, let's give her some grace. Like otherwise they would have gone hard, like, I don't know,
Yeah. Agreed.
bushes for Mary. But yeah, I felt really bad for her. I feel like she was like at that point, just I don't have anything to give anyone, so I'm just gonna cut them off
Yeah.
kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think now there's definitely polarizing views on how this conversation with between Mary and her son, Robert Jr., one being filmed
Yeah.
and two, Bravo choosing to air it. So, I mean, I don't really know where to start with it. I know I've personally have had this kind of conversation with people in my life, talking, like calling them out and being like, what's
Same.
going on with you? Like, I know you're on something. What's happening?
Hmm.
Um, it's not an easy conversation to have. I'm happy I've never had cameras around me during that because it is such a heart-wrenching situation. Um, so I think on one hand, I'm kind of like, I'm happy that Mary, not happy, but like, I think important to show that these like drug addiction and like especially prescription drug addiction can happen to anyone. And it's like if you have people in your life that you can talk to about it, like great. And the fact that she was so vulnerable enough to be like, I'm going to put this out there that my son has a problem and he needs help, because it kind of makes people feel like, okay, I've been wanting to call out my partner, my brother, whoever it is, like out on their shit for a while, and I haven't had that courage to do so. I think that's helpful. But I also think I don't know if it's necessarily great to be monetizing off that.
Yeah. There's a lot of things. I think I want to hear what the son had to say and what permissions he gave and like what he thinks about this because I think that ultimately would determine how I feel about it. But like I don't know if Mary thought knew that would happen in that scene. Like she was like sitting down with him to talk to him, but I don't know if she knew how crazy it was gonna be. Like
Yeah.
that got really dark talking about suicide and how much, oh my God, the amount of
Yeah.
drugs he's on is like really
How
bad.
many Xanax did he say he was up to?
30 or
Like,
something?
yeah, that's insane.
Like and the thing is, he probably hasn't had to go through withdrawals because Mary's giving him money and letting him stay there. And like, it was like a episode of intervention, truly.
Oh, absolutely.
So like, he's gonna have to go to an extreme rehab because that's very dangerous to
Yeah.
go off of. I
So I
don't know.
guess Andy spoke with Mary because Bravo Fest was happening in Miami
Hmm.
while this episode was airing.
Mm.
And so Andy had a panel, and Meredith and not Whitney, sorry, Heather and Lisa were on it. And Andy said, like, before we get started, I spoke to Mary before coming out here, and she said Robert Jr. is doing super well. So it sounds like
Good.
he's okay and has gotten help and everything. But yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like, what permissions did he give? Did they expect that conversation to go the way it did? I think the fact that he finally, I mean, I think throughout the seasons of the show, we've seen him kind of deteriorate.
Yeah.
Like, falling in love with that girl, and the first thing he wanted to do was just like buy her a purse, and then he like got married to her behind his mother's back, and like now they're living in her house in his childhood bedroom.
Slurring
And
words and like,
yeah, what
yeah.
about the episode prior to this one? She clearly had like a weed pen or something,
She was hiding it.
and she
Yeah.
was hiding it because the cameras were in there, and he hit her being like, hey girl, like put it away.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
not like that, but
They were
it
both
was
very
just like,
proud of it too. Like,
yeah.
yeah, like how, when does production step in and say, like, hey, we're noticing a problem here? Like, they've probably, if they're around them at their house a lot, they probably saw worse things than that. Like, if he was slurring his words that much and taking opiates and Xanax since he was,
Mhm.
what did he say? Like 17, 16?
15.
He's 21 now, so
Yeah.
that's a long time. Like he's probably at the point where he is not okay, like
Mhm.
nodding off and stuff.
Well, I mean, we
So,
saw it.
yeah, we saw it. But like they had to have noticed that. So when do they step in? That's the ethical
Yeah, I think
things
that's
that
the
they
ethical
do.
dilemma,
Yeah,
because then it's technically like reverse breaking the fourth wall.
right. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's serious stuff. I mean, we've seen on other franchises and stuff like alcoholism and people being called out for that. But obviously, like, does production go that far or like try to
Yeah.
have that conversation? I don't know. It's like,
Or are they just trying to document everything in their lives? And that
mhm.
includes drug addicted children. Like, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know how to feel. Like, was I entertained by that? Probably, which is sick and fucked up, but like it's gonna have viewers because of that scene.
yeah,
Like people are gonna talk about it and watch it. So I get it as like a
yeah.
business standpoint.
I mean,
I
I
don't
can
know.
say I was like half paying attention to I've watched the episode a couple times, but like that last scene when it's just the two of them
Yeah.
talking about this, I'm the first time I watched it, I was full on gasping at what he was
I was like
saying.
crying.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was started to tear up and cry, and I'm like, oh my God, this poor kid.
Hmm.
Like, what has driven him to that? Because it seems like he has like supportive parents and like doesn't really have to work for anything. And like,
Hmm.
what happened for you to
Well,
like
that's
get to
probably
that point?
why.
Yeah, that's
Boredom,
true.
honestly.
Yeah.
He said life is like an unseasoned chicken and drugs
Oh my
make
God,
it
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, that line was like,
It's intense.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That whole part was intense. I mean, I'm glad to hear that he's doing well. I think now it's just kind of like
Who knows? I don't know. Would she say he's not doing well though? Like it's tough. I don't know. That's a tough addiction to quit.
it it sure is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad neither of us have done it ourselves.
No, but I have known people
Yeah, I know.
and it's really
It's
upsetting.
yeah, it's hard. It's hard to be like the bystander watching someone do that.
Yeah, I hope he's getting all the help.
Same. I hope so too. Okay. Well, from
Not
that,
just being prayed for, because that's not going to do shit for
no,
opiate addiction.
no, I
Sorry.
have no good transition from
Um,
from
uh,
that to quick shots.
so like speaking of speaking their truth,
Okay, I'll take it. That's a good one. Thank you.
uh, should we speak our truths with quick
We
shots?
should. Let's speak our truths.
Was that a good transition?
I love it.
Okay, good.
I love it so much.
Do you want me to ask you first?
Sure, why not?
Okay, ready?
Yes, I'm so scared.
These aren't that like
You say that every time, and then you literally hit me with a question, and my jaw hits the floor. I'm like, I don't know how to respond to this.
oh, Pedro Pascal being your best friend, gay best friend was is still killing me. Time travel or teleportation?
Time travel.
Ooh. Pastel colors or bold neon colors
Ugh.
for clothing.
Pastels. I don't like neon for clothing.
Yeah, same. Um, let's see. Spicy margarita or classic martini?
Spice Marg.
Yes.
I actually hate martinis.
Oh, I fucking love
I only
martini.
like espresso ones. Or if I'm gonna get a martini, it has to be real dirty with blue cheese olives.
Vodka or gin?
Vodka.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I don't
I do
like a
not like
martini.
gin martinis. Ugh.
Mm-mm.
Has to be so dirty that it's
Yes.
like literally mostly olive juice
I
and
want
red
it to be like the dirtiest porn star version of a martini possible, where it's like a German website.
yeah.
Like,
Through a few phases where I only drink vodka martinis instead of like wine at the end of the day.
yeah, when I
Vodka
was
martini.
when I was like knee deep in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I was like, oh, the martini.
Yes. You just gotta be like
Yeah, you
holding
have
one at all
to.
times.
Same thing with Mad Men. I was like, when I was into that like time period, I was very much like, I need a dirty martini, blue cheese stuffed olives.
Dane and I call it manchangos. I don't know
Why?
why. Where did that come from, Dane? He's not gonna answer me. I have no clue. We're like, do you want a manchang?
I love it. That's what my
Okay.
mom calls manchego cheese. Is
Okay.
Manchango. She adds letters to it.
Well, now it means martini.
Okay.
Okay. Villain redemption arc or ultimate downfall?
Villain redemption arc.
Ooh, yes.
That's
Okay.
me.
This is going to be a tricky one because it is our lives.
Oh God.
Reality drama or true crime documentary? Which one do you pick? Which do you prefer? What is your pick out? As the kid that I used to nanny said once.
True crime doc.
Okay. Okay.
I
Wow.
fell
That's
asleep
not what I
watching Love
expected.
Has Won the other night.
Yeah, you're
That's
obsessed.
the fourth time I've watched it.
Like we should talk about that again, but I feel like we went pretty in depth.
We went in. I don't think there's anything new about it
Okay.
either. So it's like, I think we're good. It
Yeah.
still blows my mind. Bori, I
Hmm.
have to do my job. He's
Just
crawling
driving
up
across
my
the
leg.
country with a dead body. It's just
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, you ready?
Hmm.
Eat a whole onion every day or drink a bottle of hot sauce every day.
Oh, ugh. I guess onion, if I could eat it
You
with like,
love onion.
yeah. I love red onions, mostly.
All right, take cold showers for life or never have blankets to use when you go to sleep.
Oh God, cold showers because I have to have heavy blankets.
Yeah. Always have slow internet or
Ugh.
always have to charge your phone every 2 hours.
Charge phone, I guess. Can bring those portable
Really?
chargers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, true. I didn't think of that. Okay. Would you rather send a naughty text to the wrong person or say I love you way too early in a relationship? I've done both.
Yeah, I've done both. Um,
What was the fastest you said it? I'm curious now.
Actually, it was kind of my thing, like where guys would say it too soon to me, and then I would be like immediately turned off and run away.
Get the
And
ick.
yeah,
That's happened to me before too.
I guess I said it pretty quickly with Dane. It's
Oh,
probably
and look
like
how that worked out.
a
Fuck
month
you.
or something. Yeah.
Fuck off. I think I said it after like a month,
Mhm.
but I think it was only 3 dates, like 3 actual dates.
Wow.
And yeah, he's right down
Did
the
you
hall.
actually?
Yeah, no, actually, I did.
What? Who's down the hall?
It was a joke. Like, I'm single. There's no
Oh,
one here. It clearly didn't work out for me.
I
Like,
was
yours
like,
worked
your
out.
dad?
Lovely. Love that for you.
Or
Ew.
Bori?
Bori, I said I loved him right as he
Yeah.
got out of the crate.
And that worked out.
Yeah.
So it
Yes. So that one worked out.
was beautiful.
Okay. Fuck, Mary kill.
Oh God.
Santa Claus, Jack Frost, or Rudolph. Don't you hate Christmas? You hate Christmas music.
Ah,
Yeah, I knew that
I
about you.
like some of it.
No, you could never be in my car right now.
I like some of the classics, like Mariah Carey. I gotta love some Mariah
It's
Carey. Yeah, it's time. Didn't she fuck that up this year performing? Like,
probably. Doesn't she fuck
okay,
up every time?
let's see. I think I would. Hmm.
I think it's pretty easy, but maybe not.
I mean, I don't want to bang an icicle or a deer, so I think I would have to bang Santa. But he's probably terrible in bed. And then I would have to
See, I thought
marry
this
the
was gonna be
deer because I
easy.
love animals and I would just hang out with it. And then it would only last like, they probably only live like 5 years, right? So I would
I
get to
don't
marry again.
know.
And then kill, melt, Jack
Who
Frost.
else? See, I
Yes.
would I would marry Santa,
Okay,
fuck
okay.
Jack Frost, and kill Rudolph.
Your vagina would be an ice box.
It's fine. It doesn't remember anything anyways. It's been a while. So, anyway, and then bonus, what's your favorite song right now?
Wait, would you make venison jerky with
Maybe.
with the
These
wiener?
are your questions.
Okay. Sorry. Okay.
I need to
What?
stop answering my own questions. Okay, what is your favorite song right now?
I haven't been really listening to music. I've been listening to a lot of Outkast recently. Throwback Outkast. I think Rosa Parks by
Ooh,
Outkast was like, it's just a banger.
nice. What
Yeah.
a choice. I love it.
Just for right now.
Just for right now.
Yes.
Great. That's
Also
it.
Radiohead, weirdly.
No, I can tell with the beanie.
Yeah.
You're in that mode.
My weird indie like rock mode.
I used to listen to Karma Police though on repeat. I'll give you that.
Yeah. It's good.
It's a good one.
They're very sad though.
They are. You pick
Depressing.
sad stuff for everything I ask you about music. It's always something sad. Like it's always something sad. When I asked you, what album would you bring to a desert island? You're like, Postal Service. I'm like, do you want me to give you? No, I'm not going to make that joke. I'm going
It's
to
weird
stop
because I
myself right there.
hate sad music usually. I I can't stand it.
It's fine.
Ugh,
Well, that was fun.
it
Good
was a
one.
good time.
Good time. Guys, don't forget, review, like, subscribe, comment.
Great.
I just said that.
You did
Oh,
not.
well, then I didn't. You said it.
Well, I guess review and rate is like,
Do all the things, guys. Just
yeah,
do it
please like
all.
message us with anything you want us to talk about. And I think we're covering some holiday themed subjects
Holiday
next time.
horrors.
Yes.
I don't know why I did that. Yeah. That just reminds me of a girl we work with, or I worked with, you work with. She'd go, I love
Oh,
her,
I know who you're
Chelsea
talking
Herman.
about. Yeah.
I love her.
I love her too.
Oh, I miss her. Oh,
She's
she's
really
so
funny.
good. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks a lot.
Bye.